Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And action-packed as ever, so welcome everyone, welcome Kiki, and it's wonderful to have you here live with us as well each and every time. So let's jump in because there is so much to cover. Let's look at our main energies. So we're working with two of them specifically. 23, which is split apart, regenerate, splitting apart from the past. And 21 is this biting through. It's about discernment and discerning what's right, what's correct for each of us individually and collectively. As we move into, we're going to welcome Alicia. We're working with the new moon in Leo. And this is the astrological chart for it. And the first thing, again, I read the astrology charts intuitively. And the first thing this said, because there's so many auspicious energies going on. Let me just say this really quickly. With all the outer planets, and this is going to be going on for about 2+ years, there is this auspicious aspecting that's going on between all the outer planets. They're the heavy hitters. They're the as above, so below. This denotes this massive change that we're experiencing. And so we're witnessing the deconstruction of the past and the construction of the future. And that's what this Leo new moon chart is speaking to as well. So you see in the inner circle, there's the blue crisscrossing lines. Those are all many grand trines and so forth. But immediately it said to me, trampoline. That's what I heard intuitively. And you see that this Leo new moon, it's the new moon in Leo, they're at 2 degrees each. Welcome, Olivia. They are directly opposing, they're in opposition to Pluto at 2 degrees Aquarius. And then you'll see on the far right, you see the vertical red line, which is about, this is Mars being in square in a frictional aspect to, it's Venus in frictional aspect to, at the top, Mars and the South Node. South Node is what we're releasing. So this toxic masculinity, the shadow, the goo that we have been dealing with for millennia. So this is and we're seeing the height of it. And we all have to recognize it is not just male. It's divine masculine. It's the shadow, the goo of the divine masculine, of which we all have. Does not matter about gender. We all have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. So we all want to take stock, bear witness to, and correct, split apart from, and use discernment, bite through to remedy, repair what's spoiled, because it exists within all of us. So as we look at this chart, so again, this trampoline And then trampoline faith. So let me just, because that was something I had never heard of, and good old Google. So when I looked it up, this is from Joshua Crawford at Christian Health Coach. Trampoline faith, how small jumps of faith unlock big air from the Almighty, from the unseen. And what's interesting about this title is it's trampoline faith, how small jumps of faith unlock big air. All of the outer planets are moving into air and fire signs. So it unlocks faith of big air from the Almighty, from the unseen. In these moments, we must realize we're standing upon a trampoline of faith. Any jump of faith we're capable of producing will be met with exponential power from the Almighty, the unseen. Trampolines have been around since the 1930s and work when the kinetic energy from our jumping legs acts upon the stored potential energy found inside the trampoline springs. How often do we find ourselves in situations which call for some great action, but we may be too weary, weak, or limited to produce that action? If we're jumping off the bare ground and responsible for creating every bit of energy, we'd be in trouble. In these moments, we must realize we're standing upon a trampoline of faith. Any jump of faith we're capable of producing will be met with exponential power from the Almighty, from the unseen. In Malachi 3:10, we're encouraged to test God's faithfulness. In 1 Peter 4:19, we're told to entrust our souls to the faithful Creator. In 1 Kings 8:56 says, not one of his promises has failed. With such a faithful God, an Almighty, the unseen, with so much potential stored energy available, jump. Maybe you've been cautiously testing this trampoline out for a while, too nervous to abandon yourself to the unseen's promises, the Almighty's promises. But look at how kids use trampolines, seeing how high they can go. Jump. Then watch the Almighty respond, sending you soaring through this world of creation. There's a huge message here of the deconstruction and the construction, this trampoline faith, this faith. And there was also this aspect in this chart, in the chart for the Leo new moon. It said that, again, the trampoline prevents you from falling through. It prevents anything in this beautiful container of all of these positive aspects astrologically that are going to occur. Again, they're going to arc out for almost 3 years. So they're all positively aspecting one another. So this was saying, and then this Venus and the Mars South Node aspect of where, Mars is conjunct the South Node. It's about what we're letting go of. And 222, it's 222, it's for you. 222, we've got works to do. There's so much for us. There's so much on offer here. It's number one from the unseen. And they said, swift, rapid changes ahead. Hang on. Go along for the ride of a lifetime. So there's a lot that's occurring here. Swift, rapid changes ahead. Hang on. Go along for the ride of a lifetime. And again, that ride of a lifetime depends on which lane you're in, which train you're on. We've spoken about this a lot. So how this plays out for each person is going to be individually based on choices made, and continue, past and present choices. They all affect us, and they all affect your personal experience. Now let's move through. Welcome, Elizabeth. Let's work through to the astrological influences. This is where this trampoline faith, because we have Neptune that stationed retrograde, Uranus entered Gemini. We'll touch on that in a moment. Saturn stationed retrograde, Mercury stationed retrograde, all these retrogrades, so that we go back and finish. It was that analogy of going back when on vacation, you've left the house, but you go back to make sure you didn't leave the oven on and the doors are locked and, everything's tidied up and whatever, so that as you advance and you're on that, this rapid, swift changes ahead, you do so with a clear mind, with a clear, sense of being. Then on the 22nd, just yesterday, the sun entered Leo, so we are officially in Leo season. And then tomorrow on the 24th is the new moon in Leo. However, note that Neptune's at 2 degrees, Uranus was at 0 degree, is at 0 degrees, Saturn's at 1 degree, the sun entered at 0. You see all of these beginning, these 0, 1, 2 degrees is where all of these outer planets are going to aspect themselves for some time. Again, these 3 years. So positively. So again, we're deconstruction, construction. It's a little bit cray-cray, but that's what's happening. And that's where we're getting this trampoline faith from. Is to jump. It's to have the faith, to be childlike, to jump. And discernment, because again, we talked about the 7 of Cups. We're going to be, individually and collectively, we are going to be presented with these opportunities. But the opportunities can also be illusion, delusion. So discernment, 21, hexagram 21, biting through, discern. So it's to use your discernment as this swift, rapid change occurs, and you're presented with opportunities and choices. It's to make sure you're doing so, and you'll see, because it's our main theme, and ooh, is it a doozy. Discernment and faith and this trust in the unseen and taking the necessary steps is going to be vital and pivotal and foundational for us, for each of us. So let's go to our main theme, because this one's a doozy. So what I heard from the unseen was fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. So we're going to break this down. So fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. And let's start with fragmented realities. So fragmented realities refers to a concept where an individual's perception of reality is disrupted, often due to a traumatic event or a realization that their previous understanding was false. This can manifest as a feeling of disorientation, a loss of trust, or a difficulty distinguishing between truth and falsehood. The concept also appears in discussions of technology and information, where digital manipulation and misinformation can lead to a fractured sense of shared truth. We are bearing witness to all of this on the world stage. How, AI and artificially generated images and videos of people and so forth are out there, and how what's been told, what's been promulgated all for how long, is now not holding up under the weight of its falseness, and thereby this fragmented realities. It can be about betrayal trauma. One common experience of fragmented reality is when a person discovers a profound betrayal by someone they trusted, leading to a collapse of their previous understanding of the relationship and their world. This can be incredibly disorienting and cause a sense of lost reality. Loss of trust. Discovering that one's reality was based on a lie or manipulation can lead to a deep sense of distrust and a fragmented sense of the world. Digital manipulation. The ease with which digital images and information can be altered raises concerns about the reliability of information and the potential for fragmented realities to be created and disseminated. This is where, we must traffic in truth. It's too quick with social media to just see something and take it as gospel and pass it along. We do a grave disservice not only to ourselves, but to everyone in our sphere, in that ongoing ripple. When we don't take that beat, that pause, to go do some simple research to say, oh, this is fake. This is propaganda, which can cause a fragmented reality. Last but not least, misinformation and propaganda. The spread of misinformation and propaganda can create a climate where different groups or individuals have vastly different understandings of reality, leading to societal fragmentation. We've talked a lot about this, about, garbage in, garbage out. What are we spending our time? We've got 24/7, news cycles and information, these smart devices and so forth at our fingertips. What and with whom are we sharing our energy? Who are we letting in? And if you wouldn't invite them into your home to stay the night or share a meal, why would you invite them in to your energy and your sovereignness, your divinity, through social media, news. It's about discernment. It's the Seven of Cups. I'm going to keep coming back to this issue. It's the Seven of Cups, because what the unseen is saying in this moment is that it's going to get intense. This battle between fragmented realities of misinformation and propaganda and digital manipulation, and this deconstructing of trust, because perhaps you have been in a camp that was you were consuming misinformation. When that reality hits, it's going to be swift, rapid. It's going to be hang on for the ride. It's going to be very destabilizing. Let me move to now illusion, the illusion unmasked. The illusion unmasked is a phrase or concept that suggests a revelation or exposure of something that was previously hidden or misrepresented. It often implies a shift in perception where a deceptive or false appearance is replaced with a clearer, more accurate understanding of reality. The phrase is used in various contexts, including social commentary, self-help, and even fictional narratives, to describe the process of uncovering hidden truths and challenging perceived realities. Unmasking the influencer illusion. This phrase, used as a book title, implies a critique of the curated and often unrealistic portrayals of life promoted by social media influencers. It suggests that the public is starting to see through the carefully constructed facades and recognize the gap between the online image and the reality of these individuals' lives. We know this personally. You can see people, posting and doing all of this wonderful, 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 and yet, behind the scenes, it's all, it's a dumpster fire. Unmasking the illusion unmasked. Because the future, the Aquarian matriarchal era, is about authenticity. It's about who we are at our center, at our soul source connection selves, our soul selves. And so the unmasking of the illusion is mandatory. It's required, because the old, that dog don't hunt anymore. It doesn't work anymore. It will not work in the new. And so so many people, they're saying to me, so many people are so afraid of just being who they are. Who you are, who we are, is more than good enough. It's great. It's divine. So harness your authenticity, because that's where your empowerment lies. It's in your centeredness. It's not in the masks, the identities, the labels, the stories, the scripts, the material things. That's all. It's like, who are you when all of that's not present? That's what matters. That's what fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked, is bringing to the fore. The corporate or corporation illusion. This title suggests a deeper dive into the idea that a corporation or corporations, rather than a nation, might be controlling the narrative and potentially undermining democratic principles. It challenges the traditional understanding of national identity and governance. We're again seeing this play out on the national stage and watching the people, we the people, say, no more, no more, not interested in this illusion where it's corporate greed, monetary greed that's governing, and not the authenticity of what's best for the people, for humanity. Unmasking the illusion of perfection. This context speaks to the harmful effects of striving for an unattainable ideal of perfection, often promoted by societal pressures. It suggests that embracing one's flaws and imperfections is crucial for genuine self-acceptance and happiness. This is our key, it's our mantra. Perfection in the imperfection. See, the beauty is, because we look at this ideal, perfection, and this unmasking the illusion of perfection. So our mantra is perfection in the imperfection. What this is talking about is, again here, see, it's our shadow aspect. We are meant to harness the energy of the shadow, of the imperfections, to transcend, ascend. It's to refine ourselves, not define ourselves. And thus there's this greatness on shattering the illusion, because they both exist, the shadow and the light, the imperfection and the perfection. And many times through the imperfection, that which we fear most, the shadow, our greatest transformation occurs. One could say that we are witnessing that again on the global stage. We are watching the imperfection of a collective, of the divine masculine, its shadow, where we've become the lesson, didn't transcend it. We've defined ourselves by it. We didn't refine ourselves by it. And yet it's being brought to the fore so we can look at it. It's not pretty. It's painful. It's not pretty. However, so that we can own, atone, release. Because in the new, that dog don't hunt. So the quicker and the faster we get to our authentic selves, and we just stand in the stillness of that, the greatness of that, it's like they're saying to me, can't touch that. You can't touch that. It's untouchable because it speaks for itself. It's like the truth. It speaks for itself. Unmasking myself, the self. This phrase suggests a journey of self-discovery where one confronts and acknowledges their own self-deceptions and biases. It implies a process of letting go of limiting beliefs and embracing authenticity. Philosophical or spiritual, unmasking the illusions. This can refer to a broader exploration of the nature of reality and the ways in which our minds can create illusions or misrepresentations of the world. It might involve questioning our assumptions, beliefs, and perceptions to uncover deeper truths. It's about facing the shadow. It's about recognizing that everything's energy. Fear is energy, just like love is energy. Harness the purity of the energies for you, for us. Because when we do, it's a ripple effect. And lastly, fictional narratives, the grand illusion, unmasked. As a book title, this suggests a story where a character or group of characters uncover a grand deception or conspiracy that has been hidden from them. It could be a mystery, a thriller, or a science fiction narrative. In essence, the illusion unmasked is a powerful metaphor for the process of revealing truth, challenging assumptions, and moving towards a more authentic understanding of oneself and the world. So this main theme, fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. I don't know about you all, you can put it in the comments, but it's a heavy hitter, game-changing statement from the unseen that says, this is where we are. And we're at this moment because, again, these retrogrades, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, are going back to finish up business. Pluto's already gone forward. Jupiter's gone forward. They've all gone forward, but we're doing this last bit of tidying up, this cleaning up. And everything will, by end of February and end of April 2026, so months out, we are officially in all of these air signs, that trampoline faith, this big air, and how the unseen lifts us. In order to do that, it cannot be fake, manufactured. You can't bully, bribe, BS your way. It's got to be your authentic soul self coming forward. And that doesn't, 8 billion souls, we talk about this, but, businesses, institutions, governments, they're all people. They do not exist without people, humans, souls. So the same applies. So corporations, governments, institutions, if you're listening, the message is the same. It applies to you too. Because this goo from the past, this corrupted divine masculine, will not go into the future. Will not, cannot, does not. End of story. So let's move on now. Let's see. Because number 2 from the unseen. Why? With all of this, they said, because for every action, there was an equal there is an equal or opposite reaction. This is Newton's third law of motion. So they're saying for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Hang on. So you see this message of swift, rapid changes ahead. Hang on, go along for the ride of a lifetime. And then for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Hang on. And those hang-ons can be positive. Remember, it's not just negative. It's just which train are you on? What lane are you in? How are you utilizing your life force, your energy, the choices you're making? Because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And what humans fail to recognize and realize is every single time they do it, there is this equal and opposite reaction. So there's hang on. Hang on. So perfection, our mantra, perfection in the imperfection. Focus on harnessing the divine masculine and the divine feminine within. That's where the harmony lies with ego, mind, personality, human, soul source connection. And the former in service to the latter. So that in the new, it's coming from this authentic place. Because we're all the custodians. We are going to have to understand there is a new script, there's a new operating system, there's a new way of being. And that way of being is that the ego, mind, personality, human is in service to, in alignment with, in service to soul source connection, which was from last week. Only the heart can reveal the answer. It's that same, only the unseen knows the way. The way. So now let's move on to hexagram 23 and 21. And these are coming from various sources. So hexagram 23, this split apart. Its action is to regenerate. So we are splitting apart from the past to regenerate. Its hidden influence, the divine feminine, receptive. We're yielding to the way. We're yielding to the new. This major outer planet's just massive. It has not happened in... Astrologers are talking about how like this, and think about this. All of these planets, the outer planets, they have their orbital period around the sun ranges from, I believe, 18 years at the least and 200 and some years at the greatest. So Pluto is 246 years. Jupiter is, I believe, the most 17, 18 years. Uranus is 84 years around the sun. You get the point. Imagine the synchronicity of all of those at these varied speeds of orbital movement aligning perfectly for 3 years, where they're going to be in harmonious aspect. That is this beautiful blue cradle basket. And the red lines are saying, nothing gets down in here. Nothing corrupts this. We're going to bounce you like a trampoline. So trampoline faith. Have the faith to move forward. Find it within yourself, because nothing gets here that's not supposed to. And so if you're being illicit, it's like a trampoline. It's just like bing, and it's going to bounce you right off, like bam. It doesn't go through. And yet when you're in oneness with that force on a trampoline, faith, look how much higher and higher and higher you can go. How much more joy, how much more fun, how much more love. But it requires being your authentic soul source connection self. So, hexagram 23, and these are from various, I'll let you know who they're from. It brings us to our first quote. All of life will not change you. It unfolds as a way to unmask you. And this is from Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. So, we have this beautiful quote that's saying, see, all of life will not change you. That's a byproduct. What it does is it unfolds as a way to unmask you, to get to who we are at our soul source connection center. That's what this energy is going to do. And make no mistake about it, it's going to do it. So go willingly. Quote 2, life is a quarry out of which we are told to mold and chisel and complete a character. This is by Goth. So we have these beautiful opportunities and examples about being unmasked and honing and polishing our stones, chiseling to form this most beautiful character or to reveal it. I mean, think of a statue, a marble statue, a stone statue. Artisans start out with a block and they hone and polish and chisel to reveal a character, a beauty, a creation, what's in its center. That's what we're doing here. That's what these energies are going to do. And so I beg of you, do it, go along for the ride of a lifetime. Go along, be proactive, keep surrendering, keep doing it willingly, proactively, because the alternative is not pretty. So this hexagram 23, known as Po or splitting apart, signifies a time of decay, deterioration, and separation. It represents a situation where the strong are gradually undermined and collapse under the pressure of the weak, symbolizing the natural process of things falling apart. It's when things are too lopsided, and that's where we are. So here it's where the strong collapse because of the weight of the weak, the pressure of the weak. This hexagram encourages acceptance of this process and emphasizes the importance of discretion, discernment, careful timing, and nurturing personal virtues during such a phase. It's like what we want to cling to is our fire, our innate internal flame, our authenticity. The primary meaning is the gradual breakdown of what once was strong, whether in a relationship, a project, or a situation. The weakening isn't a sudden event, but a slow process of erosion. So we didn't get here in the blink of an eye. It's millennia. This corruption, this illusion and delusion and manipulation and control, and this is millennia. And we have the opportunity, individually and collectively, and like that, in a snap of a finger, we can change our course. We can choose the higher octave. We can choose it in our individual lives, within ourselves, we just have to be proactive, willing. What we're witnessing on the world stage is this clinging to it, trying to rewind the clock to like 1900 or something. Well, that's impossible. As they said last week, there is nothing compares to the force of nature, divine nature, the unseen. These planets are going back to tidy up business, but they're not going backwards like, oh yeah, gee, we just did this. Let's rewind the clock 2,000 years and do it again. That was so much fun. That's not how it works. So best be stepping, as they say, get to it. So the weakening isn't a sudden event, but a slow process of erosion, where small, seemingly insignificant actions can have a cumulative effect. It's a time to be cautious and avoid making bold moves. Focus on maintaining your inner strength and resources. All of these retrogrades are there. So it's not about do nothing, and it's bold moves. Okay, avoid making bold moves per se. If it's right, it will be right, and you'll know it. If it's not, just eke out a little bit of time here, certainly while Mercury is retrograde. But it also can mean that if something's been in play with Mercury and these Neptune and Saturn, when we've already been engaged with things, it's okay to proceed, but use discernment, because the opportunities, the swift, rapid change, the Seven of Cups, these opportunities and choices are going to present themselves. So focus on maintaining your inner strength and resources. Acceptance of the natural ebb and flow of things, including the end of certain phases, is crucial. While challenging, this period can also be an opportunity for personal growth and reflection. It's the trampoline phase. You take that one first bounce and step, boom, it can be quantum leaps forward. And it will be different for each of us. So again, just personal discernment. In essence, hexagram 23 is a reminder that even the strongest structures can crumble, and it's essential to be mindful of the subtle forces at play and to adapt accordingly. Now, from divination.com on hexagram 23, things are not the way they seem. Reality appears to be a hall of mirrors, fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. Intrigues are multiplying like summer flies, and there are rumors of discontent. We're seeing this on the world stage. It's like pin the tail on the donkey. It is the time of illusion, disintegration, distrust, and deception, because the unseen is clearing the decks. They are etch-a-sketching. They're clearing the screen for a whole new way, a whole new world, whole new operating system. When you find yourself trapped in a hall of mirrors, it becomes necessary to retrace your steps. That was literally, it was our mantra. I retrace my steps to find the way. When you find yourself trapped in a hall of mirrors, it becomes necessary to retrace your steps. That was the mantra from last week's show. Return to the familiar. Take solace in what is firm and secure. What's firm and secure is your soul source connection. Your soul is true north. It will never deviate from true north. There is no blame in holding back. Indeed, it is your responsibility to keep your strength intact for the period of revival that follows the period of disintegration, as surely as the dawn follows the night. What was our key word last week? Responsibility. So it's your responsibility to keep your strength intact. Discretion is the better part of valor. Discretion, discernment, fighting through, which we're coming to. And good timing is critical. Learn to choose the proper moments for action, thereby avoiding futile effort. Pay close attention to changes that signal a time of retreat. In the realm of personal relations, discovering illusion can be painful and confusing. During a period such as this, it is wise to avoid undertaking bold new moves. It is especially important not to jump to conclusions when you sense that nothing is quite as it seems. So again, there's a lot of discernment, there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of faith, and as you'll see in a moment with this Leo no moon, there's a lot of joy. From oracleoflove.info, hexagram 23. The hexagram describes the final stage of a decline, where resources are about to run out and the end is at hand. There is no further significance to the current season, Piscean patriarchal era. All its meaning is found by looking back into the past. See, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't demonize. We don't become the lesson. The oppressed don't become the oppressor. This is number 6 from the unseen. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Rise, a higher calling. And it's from, let me just bring this in really quickly. It's from our 1 Peter 2:12. Be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior and they will give honor to the Almighty, to the unseen, to God when He judges the world. So see, this is all of these 2 wrongs don't make a right. So we don't demonize the past. We don't want to become the oppressor. We're seeing that on the world stage. And so it's about 2 wrongs don't make a right. Rise, a higher calling. It's about stepping up, trampoline of faith, recognizing the moment and moving with it proactively, responsibly. So there's no further significance to the current season. All its meaning is found in looking back into the past. Allow the season to conclude gracefully. This is number 5 from the unseen. Push forward with grace and ease. Have faith. The beginning, in quotes, is just up ahead with a big smiley face. So this push forward with grace and ease. Have faith. Trampoline faith. The beginning is just up ahead. And so it's about allow the season to conclude gracefully. We may store that which is most precious as a seed for the next season and sacrifice our remaining resources to nourish its germination. Expenditure of rare resources at this time may make a situation very fragile and something may break. Avoid exertion even though action may be warranted. See, it's about being in right balance, right timing. So again, it does not mean do nothing. It means listen. It's that Seven of Cups. Because when the opportunities come, and look, there are glorious things in some of those cups. So there's opportunity and possibility and choices to be made. Do so with discernment, with right timing, divine timing. Don't overexert yourself. So, and then they said, it's over. Something is coming to an end. There is most like, see, it's over. Like we keep talking about this on the show. The Piscean patriarchal era, that era, it's over. It's done. Something is coming to an end. Allow it to end gracefully. There is most likely nothing you can do other than let issues settle. You may actively seek a termination, but beware of breaking things unnecessarily. If you have sown a seed, that seed is now independent and it will make its own way. Times change and new situations arise. Wait or await them. The oracle may use this hexagram to indicate that it is referring to a situation that is ending or has passed rather than to one that is approaching. It may also use this hexagram to indicate that a task has been completed or that a task cannot be completed because of a lack of resources. There's a very fine dance going on. And so we're making steps in the right direction. It's about divine timing. It's about listening to the right moment in these seeds. And what does it create? It was talking about that seed is now independent. It is our key word. Our key word is independence. And it goes to this beautiful point of the state of being free of the control of some other person, country, or entity. Revolutions are all about obtaining independence, the ability to live your life without being helped or influenced by other people, the state or quality of being independent, freedom from the influence, control, or determination of another or others. One can also say independent or independence from illusion, fragmented realities, lies, deceptions, all of these things that have been playing out and been going on. So we have these beautiful independence, faith, joy. We're coming to joy. This is hexagram 21. It's about biting through. Its action is discernment. Its hidden influence, obstruction, innovate. And its underlining cause is the well. The well is we, the people. The well, we, the people. As above, so below. It's inspire. This is to inspire us forward, not to drag us back, but to inspire us forward, to take those leaps of faith, sometimes quantum leaps of faith. This brings us to our third quote. When two sides raise arms against each other, it is the one that is sorrow-stricken that wins. This is from the Master. And you see these upreached arms of people, children, humanity. When two sides raise arms against each other, it is the one that is sorrow-stricken that wins. Because again, there's a humility, there's an authenticity, there's hope. It's not arrogance and hubris and entitlement. That never wins. Never. It is its own undoing. But hope and love and faith and goodness and kindness and empathy and compassion, those multiply and expand in ways that are limitless. Both are limitless, but those come back in a way that are great because they're pure, they're authentic. From divination.com, hexagram 21. Current circumstances call for confronting a thorny situation and cutting through it. Somehow, the way to harmony and unity is blocked or frustrated, perhaps by a tangle of deceit or corruption. Like Alexander the Great cutting the Gordian knot, take decisive action and you will be met with good fortune and even your destiny. It's about not being afraid. When you know what to do, do it. When you know to stand up, stand up. When you know to take that quantum leap of faith, jump. Because you're met with good fortune and even your destiny. Don't be afraid to shake things up a bit. The ability to take corrective measures when they are needed is an essential trait of leadership. Those who bring discipline to bear must, above all, be honest with others and with themselves. It's about the truth. Honesty is the hallmark of the strong and self-confident. The successful person masters the art of honesty like the swordsman masters fencing. When lies, delusions, and game playing are getting in the way of teamwork, the swift sword of honest action, perhaps even punishment, must be wielded to protect integrity and values. Decisiveness with integrity will bring good fortune. When you look back biblically, and we use the Bible as a beautiful reference, a historical reference, look at each time the wrath of God was demonstrated, recorded, it was against the wicked. It was against the evil, the bad, the less good. And it didn't mean that those remained were quote unquote perfect. They were simply pure of heart. They were good. They desired rightness, righteousness, good. Though your actions may be vigorous, they must not be hasty, severe, or arbitrary. Be sure to carefully consider all the circumstances. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Hang on. So it's be conscientious, be aware. What's the purity of my actions, my intentions, my words, my deeds? Be sure to carefully consider all the circumstances. In the case of a serious disruption of relations or events, forgive, but don't forget. At least not until the person has made reparation for his or her mistakes or behavior. If corrective action is necessary, make certain that it truly fits the crime. When rules have become slack and useless, only through the institution of clear and swift penalties can their effectiveness be restored. In those situations where serious issues of justice are at stake, keep careful records and do not hesitate to go public with the truth. The truth will set you free. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to state the truth or tell the truth. Other times it is. But in both instances, once you do, the truth speaks for itself. And anybody that would hold others hostage when they're speaking authentic truth, it says a lot about who they are, nothing about you. So we have these mega powerful energies going on. Number 3 from the unseen, pomposity extinguished. This grandioseness of grandiosity and so forth. So pomposity extinguished. A severe, underlined, humbling, ... at hand with 3 exclamation points from the unseen. So pomposity extinguished. A severe humbling at hand. Number 4 from the unseen it's the song from Leanne Rimes, very famous. It's the lyrics, but the song is I Need You. And it's this discussion between the unseen and ourselves. 8 billion souls, 8 billion humans, and this interactive relationship with the Almighty, the unseen. I need you like water, like breath, like rain. I need you like mercy from heaven's gate. There's a freedom in your arms that carries me through. I need you. You're the hope that moves me to courage again. You're the love that rescues me when the cold winds rage. And it's so amazing because that's just how you are. And I can't turn back now because you've brought me too far. See, the unseen has brought us to this beautiful precipice, threshold moment, a higher octave. We're going back to where we began, an octave higher. And this beauty of the reciprocity. What the unseen is saying, what God is saying is like, don't forget that I need you too. I want you. Need is maybe I want. And vice versa, we do the same. And when those two things come together, it's this beautiful, it's the relationship with Source. And it's a profound realization. It's a two-way street. We're in reciprocity. So the unseen, God can be looking at us and say, you're the hope that moves me to courage again. You're the love that rescues me when the cold winds rage. And it's so amazing because that's just how you are. And I can't turn back now because you've brought me too far. It works both ways. This can work in relationships as well. But this is about, I need you. It's the relationship with Source, a profound realization. We're going to now we're going to go back before we go forward. I want to go to Juliana McCarthy. She's an astrologer from etherealculture.com. Uranus and Gemini, a seismic turning point, because remember, Uranus is the higher mind, expect the unexpected. It's the final planet that went forward, moved into Gemini, and she says a seismic turning point. Uranus entered Gemini on July 7th, triggering one of the most important astrological configurations in recent history. Uranus is the planet of instant liberation. As he enters Gemini, he trines transformational Pluto in Aquarius, that's a harmonious aspect, and sextiles, another harmonious aspect, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. We've been talking about this. Now, all the outer planets are in dynamic conversation, forming what Juliana McCarthy is calling the triangle of revolution. Remember, we had this image, the triangle of revolution, and we spoke about that in the astrological chart, where it was like we're at this precipice. There's a whole new world just on the other side of this opening, this triangle. Yes, lost my place, Mercury in retrograde, so this triangle revolution. This is the heart of 2025's seismic shift. The last time Uranus moved through Gemini was from 1941 to 1949, during and after World War II. The planet of disruption moved through the sign of media and information during a time of mass propaganda, the birth of computers, and the rise of global communication networks like radio and television. We are once again entering an inflection point, one that redefines knowledge, power, and the technologies that shape human consciousness. Uranus represents revolution, sudden change, and radical awakening. In Gemini, sign of communication, we're entering a 7-year cycle of rebellion, chaos, and visionary innovation. With both Uranus and Pluto in air signs, and Uranus ruling Aquarius, sign of futurism and utopia, the planets are sparking cultural revolution, grassroots mobilization, and the empowerment of fresh voices. It's a wake-up call. It's a massive wake-up call. And people are breaking free. Fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. It's happening right before our eyes. So where stories and lies and BS have been promulgated for years or decades or whatever, they're being confronted, they're being shattered, they're collapsing under their own weight. And what does it reveals truth. So here that's this fresh voices through its sextile, harmonious aspect to Saturn and Neptune. Uranus is rapidly reshaping the fabric of humanity. We are now fully in the air age, going back to that trampoline faith, where collaboration and novel ideas become our most potent tools of liberation, of liberation. Nothing will stay the same. This configuration marks a complete reinvention of society, politics, education, language, and consciousness. We are watching it. In the United States, we are watching the whole of governance and government collapsing, rapidly collapsing, to be rebuilt. Fighting and upheaval are inevitable, especially with Aries, sign of war and courage, so activated. But notice Mars is conjunct the South Node. So that divine masculine, Mars, is conjunct the South Node, meaning what we're releasing. That's important. This battle is a battle over the future. But in the background, Jupiter in Cancer reminds us that compassion is our guide. This is not the time for fascism, technocracy, and domination. It's a time for people to rise. It's right here, rise. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Rise, a higher calling. So this is a time to rise, help each other, and reclaim power through care, community, and truth. Empathy, compassion, ideal, the highest ideal, Neptune, the highest ideal of what we want, what we imagine our lives and our world and our fellow humans to be. We are learning to live and work in entirely new ways. As structures of control begin to crumble, we can remember that all lives are sacred, that all hearts are basically good, and that healing sparks the real revolution. Rather than fearing the electric jolts of change, we can learn to embrace them and to meet this moment with fearless determination. With vigilance, we can keep our minds clear and our hearts soft as we offer them to this fight for a better world. And lastly, she's talking about, Juliana McCarthy is talking about the Capricorn full moon that occurred 2 weeks ago, tomorrow, and it's karmic crossroads. Integrity is essential as we meet great karmic ripening. If we've strayed from our true path, the dissonance is now palpable. So if we're on the wrong path, we can always get on the right one, but it's going to be ever greater, ever louder. It's going to be palpable that you're on the right or wrong path, the right or wrong train. But if we've been doing our inner work, facing resistance and clearing obstacles, the full moon, the Capricorn full moon, is ready to deliver hard-earned breakthroughs. And remember, even though it occurred 2 weeks ago, these energies arc out. This is a time to honor the progress we've made, as well as the structures in our lives that continue to support us. As we stand amid great change, we can look back and take stock of how far we've come. Honoring our roots and ancestors, all those who have come before us. Because we didn't get here by ourselves. We didn't get here alone. It takes a village. So honoring our roots and ancestors, our eyes are remaining on the path ahead. We're focused on our next steps and how we will continue to persevere in forging new avenues and stories, both for ourselves and the world. As we dissolve outdated structures and contracts, we are simultaneously establishing new ones. Don't forget, these are new structures and contracts with ourselves. It doesn't mean, or it doesn't only mean that it's external. These can be new contracts and structures with ourselves. We can pause, breathe, and allow the upheaval to move through us with clarity and grace. This is number 5 from the unseen. Push forward with grace and ease. Have faith. The beginning is just up ahead. And here Juliana McCarthy is talking about we can move through this with clarity and grace. We're shedding what no longer serves us, standing firm in fearless love while confronting all that remains tethered to corruption or apathy. If we can harness Capricorn's integrity and moral resolve, so much is possible. One would say when we harness Capricorn's integrity and moral resolve, so much is possible. Our efforts are ready to gain power and momentum like never before. Swift, rapid changes ahead. Hang on. Go along for the ride of a lifetime. This beautiful, and to bring you where this all started, with the Leo new moon, the astrological chart, the lot of fortune and the ascendant are conjunct. They're together at 17 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol for that placement, a man's secret motives are being publicly unmasked. The keynote, the difficulty for the modern individual to keep secret his private past or his deeper motives. This symbol logically follows the 2 preceding ones. The 2 preceding ones are a big businessman at his desk and a watchdog stands guard protecting his master and his possessions. This is from Dane Rudyard at an astrological mandala. Today, struggle between the power of society and the rights of the individual leads in the end to the defeat of the latter. The media and innumerable governmental agencies are nearly always able to find access to remains or records of past actions. Modern psychologists and psychiatrists are increasingly adept at penetrating the deepest secrets of a life through analysis and all kinds of allowed techniques involving drugs and the subconscious reactions of muscles and nerves. The individual whose activities must remain unrecognized is engaged in a constant struggle. They need the help of higher powers as well as the protective agencies they may have placed at their service. They're trying to hide. They're trying to, and yet, fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. This stage and symbol refer to the unmasking of a hidden motive, of hidden motives and personal secrets. It may refer to the publicizing of past behavior. We are literally witnessing this in real time on the world stage, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. But this, it's the lot of fortune, and it's the ascendant, what's on the rise. A man's secret motives are being publicly unmasked. The difficulty for the modern individual to keep secret his past, his private past, or his deeper motives. So again, this unmasking that's saying to us to be authentic, to be true, to stand in our truth. And the past, again, everything is purposeful. It may have been hideous and horrible past choices, but we use that to refine us, not define us. Not, to transcend and uplift, not to hold back or hold down and demonize. It's about, but again, it must be authentic. If it's inauthentic, it's going to speak for itself. It's going to be known. The symbol for Chiron, the wounded healer, Chiron. A large audience confronts the performer who disappointed its expectations. The keynote is the necessity for mature preparation and self-criticism. This is all about this responsibility. It was our key word last week, responsibility. It's about taking responsibility for our choices, our actions, for either the good in them or the illicitness in them. Kiki is saying, yay, it's really happening. Yes, it is, and it's happening in real time. And last but not least, I want to move to Astrology by Lauren, and she's speaking about the new moon in Leo. On the 24th of July, which is tomorrow, we have the new moon at 2 degrees Leo, 8 arc minutes. The reason why this is such a significant moon has to do with all the outer planets being in the first few degrees of the signs they are in. All of them. This means the new moon on Thursday is opposite Pluto at 2 degrees Aquarius, trine Saturn at 1 degrees Aries, trine Neptune at 2 degrees Aries, and sextile Uranus at 0 degrees Gemini. All of those latter are the blue lines in the chart that I was showing you. The new moon is insinuating itself into this cradle that is forming and reforming over the year ahead. A cradle that balances all the outer planets in these early degrees of the fire and air signs, Gemini, Aries, and Aquarius. Before we get to the new moon, we are first needing to navigate our way into the retrogrades of first Saturn and Neptune and then Mercury, who newly stationed for its retrograde phase, also in Leo. And as Mercury enters its retrograde phase, it turns its attention inwards, towards the very core of our being, and asks us, what do you want in your heart of hearts? What would make you happy? And what might be standing in the way of that happiness? Is it fear? Is it avoidance? Confusion? Despair? Whatever the reason is, recognize that the unseen, we either go willingly, proactively, or we get the flashing yellows, the flashing reds from the unseen, and then the cosmic 2x4. Either way, it's a tower moment. It can be a proactive tower moment or a reactive tower moment. Continuing Astrology by Lauren. And then the sunny new moon in Leo comes along Thursday. This is tomorrow, allowing us to touch base with our own heart center. Interestingly, Mercury will make its direct station, when it stations direct after this retrograde, on August 11th at 4 degrees of Leo, just a few degrees, 2 degrees from the new moon, and well in range of the air-fire cradle. There seems to be a process here spanning over the next several weeks. New moons are times for sowing the sorts of seeds that we would like to see come to fruition in the not-so-distant future. Mercury will station direct just a few days after the Aquarius full moon, which can also be a time of fruition. The reason why we are cautioned not to make major commitments or decisions during the retrograde phases of Mercury is that we are being asked to reconsider our lives from many perspectives, which can lead us to changing our minds perhaps more than once. And although something may seem like a really good idea while Mercury is in its retrograde phase, this could be a very different case when Mercury returns to its direct phase in August. The exception to this rule is when we have been engaged prior with certain things. So that's the rule with Mercury. So when it's a continuation of something, of someone, something, then yes, the rules apply, but not as much because there's a continuation of something. If it's completely brand new, then heed the rules of Mercury retrograde and so forth. We are processing, reevaluating, reconsidering, and adjusting. And it would not be surprising if one of those adjustments occurs on or around this new moon. The new moon in Leo opposite Pluto could feel as if we are being required to make some radical changes due to what feels like dire and oppressive circumstances. And I'm hearing the song and the title, Listen to Your Heart. Only the heart can reveal the answer. Listen to your heart. Pluto oppositions feel so all or nothing because the new moon, so the moon and the sun are together, conjunct at 2 degrees. Leo, Pluto's at 2 degrees Aquarius, they're opposing one another. So Pluto oppositions feel so all or nothing. However, the other planets are trying to facilitate that process, even in the face of what looks like powerful forces over which we have no control. Whenever Uranus is involved, also, as it also is with the new moon, we are asked to step outside of our comfort zone in some way, to perhaps consider alternatives or to look at our circumstances from another perspective. Sudden flashes of insight can reveal solutions where previously we saw none, or illuminate a new path that we had not even considered. And then, with the trines to Saturn and Neptune, we are asked to make a commitment to any new or creative ideas that are being kindled in the fires of the Leo moon. This is about just discernment, listening. Listen to your soul source connection. That is where the power always lies. Ego, mind, personality, human, it'll barter, beg, steal, procrastinate, lie, control. It'll do all those things. Soul source connection, true north. So listen, use your discernment. It's going to create independence. Joy. We're finally here to joy. As a result, and this is Astrology by Lauren, as a result, this new moon in Leo is a moon filled with potential. Leo is a sign of joy, love, and confidence. The sort of joy that a child feels when they are playing. Trampoline faith. The sort of joy that an artist feels at the completion of a project. The joy that comes with uninhibited laughter and self-expression. The joy that comes when we awaken our hearts. And because of this, the Leo new moon can give us a charge of energy and a reboot in confidence that can restore our hope to overcome whatever obstacles may be lying in our path. And she concludes with a quote by Charles Wagner, "Joy is not in things, it is in us." So it's not in things. Joy resides within us. Joy is where source resides, in the center of our being, of who we are. And last but not least, to conclude, number 7, they said, it's Adele, rolling in the deep. We're rolling in the deep here. And while the song is about a relationship, the point of it is where she says to someone, instead of begging them to come back, I send them on their way. Well, we're rolling in the deep here because we're not beckoning and begging the past to come back. We're stepping into the future. We're moving forward. And so, all great things come to an end, and all great things have new beginnings. So wherever we are in our personal lives, where you are and where we are as a nation, as a world, the whole of the whole, the moral of the story is push forward with grace and ease. Have faith. The beginning is just up ahead. There's a new beginning. There's a great new beginning. And they're showing everything will sift its way. What's meant to be will be. It will come together. We have to make the choices. We individually have to make choices. And those choices will determine our experience, our present future, and what it looks like and how we get there. So fractured reality, fragmented realities, the illusion unmasked. Swift, rapid changes ahead. Hang on, go along for the ride of a lifetime. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Hang on. Pomposity extinguished, a severe humbling at hand. The relationship with Source, a profound realization, I need you, and vice versa. Push forward with grace and ease. The beginning is just up ahead. Have faith. Two wrongs don't make a right. Rise, a higher calling. It's 1 Peter 2:12, and rolling in the deep. So we're rolling in the deep to roll forward. So thank you, everyone, for your energy, your presence, for being on this journey. Cannot wait to see. It's just so action-packed. So I cannot wait to see what happens next week. And we will continue this journey and watch the unseen just connect, masterfully weave all of this together and pin the tail on the donkey and watch it in real time. So until then, be well and love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself more and love yourself enough to reach the outcome that you want. Soul-centered, heart-centered outcome. Love you all. See you next week.